Hello everyone, it's Sergey here again, and today I'll show, as promised, a weekly summary of our trading. I've posted all accounts on my FX book, they're all live, all active. Anyone can go to the portal, take a look, check and see the order history. And also today I added a new broker, as I promised last time. Every account that we are able to display and that are open, we are adding right here. There are also others that are still working, but we don't show them, we don't show the names of the brokers. I explained why in previous videos, so they will appear but a bit later. Also, with these two brokers that are already available now, we continue to be working on our operations, and they are all working withdrawing funds steadily. Furthermore, there are many new accounts that we are actively trading on right now. It is just that these accounts are still in the middle of the process and have not had any withdrawals yet, so it will naturally take a bit more time. And we'll also record a video. I'll record a video, tell you, show you what accounts there were, what the deposits were, and accordingly what profit we got. On average, you can't really say for certain exactly what specific percentage of profit can be stated. Look, if we go over to my FX book, we can take a closer look at exactly how much we earned over the course of the week. The only issue is that for some reason, I couldn't add one specific account with the session. I can't seem to verify it at all, and it simply refuses to pass for some reason on my FX book. I'm not sure why that is happening, but well, let it be without it for now. So here, our profit was the total profit for the week across two brokers, IC and Star Trader. This is the new broker I'm showing. We have $50,606. That's the total profit for the week in all. Right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 accounts, plus there's an 8th account that wasn't added yet. Well, it's not critical. So let it be without it. I'm just showing you exactly how this entire system works and how much consistent profit it makes. And in the trader's personal diary, you can see how it works directly, how it turns on, and every single trade it makes. And that's really all there is to it. Look, these first two accounts are from the specific video I showed you just before this one. So from $100, we made $1,000, we got 1,000%, 940%. And for the second account, we went from $3,000 all the way up to $10,000. We actually got a return of 305%. For this second account, the person sent me a report confirming that he received the money just as I promised. I'll attach a photo somewhere here on the side of the video so you can see that he got the money back and also got a profit. Everything is perfectly okay. Well, as I said before, all these accounts pay out the money and give it back. The only thing here is, look, with Star Trader we still have available equity. You can see it here, 3,990. And literally just yesterday on another Star Trader account, there was also a deposit return case. For the two people involved there, they didn't finish the process, they didn't complete the required KYC verification, so their deposit was returned to them. Now, one has already finished and everything was sent to him, and he's already received the money, while the second is still in the process of, finishing. And so later, I'm sure he'll get the money without any issues because the brokers pay, okay. Let's move on. Here we have Star Trader MT4. Let's open the terminal. Let us take a look at the previous order history to see exactly what was done and what the balance was. From 1,000, we made 948, quite an excellent result. Everything's okay. And look here, this is what I was telling you about. The person made a withdrawal of 1,948, meaning he withdrew both the profit and the deposit in one payment. And you see they returned the money to him. 1,948 was sent back. This was due to the fact that he hadn't passed KYC, so he completed the KYC and made another withdrawal, and they withdrew everything for him. He's already received the profit. So it's the same with the other account, the one with 3,990. So that's how it is. And sometimes if you go, for example, to this account on my FX book, sometimes the deposit might be listed incorrectly. You see, the deposit is listed as exactly $2,948, which is not actually quite correct, because the original initial deposit was only 1,000, but since they returned that 1,948 he withdrew, the program mistakenly thinks that this is also the deposit. In other words, it just sums everything up. Any credit is added to the deposit total, consequently. That's not exactly the case. But since we have full access to the terminal, we can examine everything thoroughly and see how it really is. So what we have here is that the total deposit was exactly 1,000 and it made 948. Well, that is nearly 100%, almost 100%. Excellent result. Let's move on to the next account and take a look at it. Here we have, if you please, MT5 already on StartRadar. Now I'll turn on the fifth MT5 terminal. I'll switch it over so you can see it too, just a second. Ah, there it is. Okay, now let's go ahead and step inside to check it out. It's exactly the same thing here, just look. There was an initial deposit of $200 right at the very start, but as you already know, we usually put in a small amount first to test the waters. And then, if everything goes well and looks good, we simply add more to the balance. See, 1,800 was added for a total deposit of 2,000, and then we started working, trading further. We finished trading, made about those same $2,000, almost 100% profit, and set it for withdrawal. But as you can see right here, there was a withdrawal return because his Know Your Customer verification hadn't been fully completed yet. And so he is writing off the profit separately and then the deposit separately. And everything is going to be fine in the end. It's just, well, they hadn't quite finished filling out all the necessary paperwork for the withdrawal, so that's why it happened. And also, accordingly, if we go to Mike's book, we'll see that the deposit there is listed as almost 6,000, but in reality, it's only 2,000. The reason this is happening is because there was a return, so the situation is not actually like that in reality. And don't forget about the drawdown, that the drawdown is actually not as big as it's written in MyFX book. Unfortunately, this is just the program's logic. So, moving on to an interesting account, IC Markets. Look, they did a very good job. Okay, now I'll switch the terminals. So I'm switching the terminal window over now. Just give me 1 second while I get that ready. There we go, that is it. Now let me just quickly check and make sure that this is the right account we are using. Let's see here. How much did we actually end up getting there? It looks like it is 31. Let me just verify that amount. Yes, here it is, 31,000. So, as you can see on IC Markets, the exact same broker, everything is working perfectly. This client successfully received their money without any issues. He withdrew it successfully. Everything was completely successful without any problems at all. Accordingly, we traded just like, well, IC Markets is traded on average in a couple of days. And you can make a pretty good deposit there. On some accounts, you can trade even more. Well, there are definitely some nuances there. Look, our deposit was 14,000, 14,500, and in the end, 31,000 was withdrawn. The client received it, the client was satisfied. This isn't the best result, we already have better ones, twice as much. The client is already withdrawing, maybe he's already received the money. Once we have a few more accounts, I'll make a new video. So wait for a new video with IC or Start Trader. But for now, IC is leading in terms of profit this week. Overall, an excellent result. Everything is very decent. I think an excellent, good result in terms of profit and the initial deposit. Maybe in terms of percentages, it's not that much in percentage terms, but in terms of the actual amount of money, it is certainly a very nice amount to see. We can also go to this account on MyFX book and see exactly how many consecutive days we've been trading. Once again, it has only been 2 days. The 5th and 6th. And so, accordingly, the profit is 3170, a gorgeous, excellent result. When you take into account the drawdown, which is virtually non-existent, and the way this entire system operates, well, you can simply trade and earn. So far, from what we have in today's video, yeah, based on what I'm showing you here, this one on MyFX book is the best overall result. But as I've said, a new account will be coming very soon. I'll definitely add it to the list, and there, accordingly, the results will be even better, even higher. And the main thing is that the broker withdraws and pays out the profit without any issues. That's the most important thing in our business, as you know. Let's move on to the next account, also an IC. Here 50% has been traded. The total profit was $4,552, and this is on the MT4 platform. So just give me a second. I will try to find that specific information for you. Okay, I don't specifically by the numbers. So 4,552. Yes, this is the account. So we had a deposit of 9,300 here. That's why we managed to make 50%. Well, that's also an excellent result, just fantastic. In financial terms, it's significant. $5,000, well, 4.5 is 4,500. Besides, as I'll say again, this work was only done for a couple of days. And here, as you can see, it was only for the 9th. So literally in one day, I think the account worked for a few hours. Then they requested a withdrawal and the client withdrew everything, received it all successfully. That is an absolutely excellent result overall. And the client is very happy. Well, to be honest, everyone involved is very happy. So let's move on to the next one. We still have either Amana. The Amana trader is also left. This is the MT5 platform. And here we have a total profit of $1,000. So I need to take a look. I'll switch over the terminal now since this is MT5. There, everything is all set. Now let's head over to the personal account. So history, the complete history for all of recorded time. So you see there were some deposits here, very small ones. Apparently something for testing, 0.01, 0.01. We already started working from this. The rise already started, 0.02, 0.03. Then something was debited, another 1,000 was deposited, and we immediately started working with 0.12. That was on the 10th. We worked on the 10th and 11th and made a profit of 1,063, and then withdrew the money. Well, accordingly, we need to take a closer look at the deposit amount here, because the total deposit is $1,136 as far as I can see. But there was also a withdrawal of $500 at some point in the transaction history. And maybe the initial deposit here wasn't just 1,000. Here he withdrew 500 and deposited 1,000. Well, okay. Fine, 1,000 then. 1,000 deposit. Well, 100% is also an excellent result. Quite good. Also, this client withdrew money. He received it. He had no issues with KYC. He filled out everything. Well, from the start. This broker also reliably processes payouts, so everything is great. Here we can take a closer look now. At Mike's book, on Mike's book, it indicates quite clearly here that he traded for several days, but in reality, our primary core trading activity actually took place over the final few days of the entire week. Roughly speaking, since the 10th. Since the 10th, when the deposit was made, that is exactly when the main profit was generated. Again, regarding the drawdown, well, it's not worth paying attention to because I don't know. Now I need to see which month that drawdown was in because I see that the account is very old. Well, relatively old, yes. And perhaps the client traded himself at some point. And with a deposit of 70, for example, he had a 70 deposit. He traded manually and went into a drawdown of 20 or 30 to $40. Consequently, it is that high. So, well, again, if we take specifically our robot and take clean accounts and our robot, then the drawdown has absolutely nothing to do with our system. Okay, so let's take a moment to summarize everything. The week went really great and quite successfully overall. Plus, please don't forget that we also withdrew some profit from the trader's diary, which can also be added right here. Well, then again, if we only consider those specific accounts that we've already added, those accounts that are active, on Mike's book, we concluded with $50,606, which is actually a remarkably excellent result for us. Also, in terms of percentages, if you sum up all the percentages of what was made, 770,000%. Yes, too. Well, it is what it is, an excellent result. And the only thing is, however, if you examine the overall total deposit, yes, the one written here, 37,000, and the total net profit reached a sum of $50,000. I want to remind you that on some accounts, the deposit was recorded incorrectly because a withdrawal was unexpectedly cancelled there, and it was sent back to the account several times, most. So the actual deposit was significantly smaller in value than what is written here now. Well, anyway, I would pay attention specifically to each account, to each individual case, and look at the total profit. Quite a superb, excellent result. We also continue to work. I will continue to add accounts to my book, and accordingly with new accounts, once a couple more are added, I'll record a video. So there will likely be at least 3 or 4 different accounts available, maybe even by later this evening. So in the coming days, we will make sure to put together and prepare another video update for you and tell you all about it. Because there is one exciting brand new champion arriving very soon, weekly profit champion on IC markets, a truly impressive result, which is significantly more than twice as much as the current one. So stay tuned for new videos. Thanks everyone for watching. Let's take a quick overview of this past week's trading performance. Basically, there is not much else to say right now. We are just looking at the specific numbers, which is the way it is when dealing with real accounts, with terminal data and MyX book, so anyone can go in, look and check. If you have questions, write to our Telegram in talks. We'll discuss and talk through everything. Thanks everyone. Successful orders to you. Bye everyone.